the stock up,
Yeah.
stock down here on NFL Fantasy Live. Starting with the good, whose stock's on the way up, right?
You know, believe it or not, I believe it's Brock Bowers, who last year had probably the best season for a rookie tight end ever, mostly because we weren't playing fantasy when Mike Ditka was a rookie. Mike Ditka had like 1,200 yards in 14 games.
Record.
I know, but he did it in 17 games. Ditka did it in 14, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the upgrade of Brock Bowers going from Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Desmond Ridder to now going to Geno Smith. It's like if somebody's like, we're going to 5 guys, and you're like, no, actually, we're going to go to In-N-Out instead. Much bigger upgrade in this instance. And even though, you know what, I know that Geno didn't target Noah Fant a ton in Seattle, but at the same time, Brock Bowers is the #1 pass catcher for the Raiders, so I expect him to have a huge year once again.
Well, I'm going to keep it in the AFC West and look at the Chargers and talk about Najee Harris. Hey guys, I don't know if you know this, but Jim Harbaugh, he wants to run the football.
Oh, really?
Shocker. I mean, I know everyone here is going to be so surprised to hear that. But Najee Harris was a guy who was contacted behind the line of scrimmage at the 5th highest rate last season. And now he gets a big upgrade, not only from the scheme from Jim Harbaugh, but also from the offensive line. So I love this for Najee. Do I think he's worth like a top 3 pick? No. But I think you're going to get a very good return on investment for him come draft time.
Look, Najee might be neighbors with Davante Adams, who I think his stock is very upcoming to L.A. He was one of 8 wide receivers last year to average 17 or more fantasy points per game. So he showed, even at his age, he is still playing at a very high level. And what led to that was he moved into the slot. He's in his Larry Fitzgerald era right now. Like, he's no longer trying to play out wide all the time. He moved to the slot. He dominated. And I think that is a prime role for him here because that was Cooper Kupp's role in the Rams offense last year. So as a #2 opposite of Puka with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, this was the best possible landing spot for Davante Adams.
Speaking of neighbors, Jaxon Smith-Njigba probably had a few of his move out as he's kind of like that series finale of Fresh Prince meme where he's just standing there in a room by himself. But I think even if you say the quarterback change is a downgrade, the circumstance for him in this Clint Kubiak offense where they get the speedster Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Cooper Kupp comes in to perform a similar role that he did in his last season. I think the majority of the targets and fantasy opportunity will go to Jaxon Smith-Njigba, but we got to send some.
Speaking of neighbors,
Yeah.
the Rams train in Agora Hills. The Chargers are in El Segundo.
Right next door.
No, but the Chargers are in El Segundo.
They both play right
Agora,
next door.
It's so far away.
People at home don't know this.
I'm going to give people in context. It's like if somebody lives in Houston and somebody lives in Austin. It's that far away.
But they both play right next door.
And, you know,
They're training. You live by the training facility.
perhaps Davante
Somebody
could
give me,
choose
I need
to
to
live
stress eat some food now.
Let's send some,
The official pizza of the NFL, please send some my way. Just stress eat here.
let's send some stocks down, right?
I'm going to go with Joe Mixon. I think this was a very disappointing finish for Joe Mixon there over the last couple of games for the Houston Texans. The most disappointing import since they started putting Skylight Chili into stores across the country. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Skyline's great. Joe Mixon was not at the end of the year, and I think he had one game where he had like over 45 rushing yards. Earlier in the year, he was fantastic. He was averaging somewhere close to 100 rushing yards per game, probably more like 95. But then at the end of the season, it was so bad. And I remember somebody was talking about this the other day. It might have been Jeff Manns. We were talking about guys who have scarred you so poorly. You're like, I can never do this. Like Joe, I might not ever do it again because the ending was so terrible. Kind of like Star Wars Episode 9. Like I don't know.
We don't even talk about it.
We act like it doesn't happen.
Okay. Well, on that note,
Okay.
I'm going to go with the combination in Pittsburgh. I think it's interesting for DK Metcalf and, of course, George Pickens. But DK Metcalf specifically, this could go well for him depending on how we see Arthur Smith break it down. I don't necessarily think so. Who's going to be the quarterback?
Ooh,
Is it going to be a guy who likes to throw deep? I'm not sure how this is all going to work out. I am staying away from this situation. George Pickens specifically, but that one even more. Like DK, I'm staying away. George Pickens, I'm really staying away. So I don't know. Get me away from that situation.
Yeah, I don't love this situation for them either. And I'm really sad about Jalen McMillan here because in the season, my innie was telling you to get really excited about him for next year, but it's not going to happen now, it seems.
Who was telling you?
My innie. In season, Severance.
It's a Severance reference.
Yeah. Severance is
it.
the best show on TV, by the way.
I was really worried you were talking about a belly button, and I was very freaking out there for a second.
The whole second half of last year when McMillan was balling out, I was like, you want this guy in Dynasty. He's awesome, all that. He's still awesome. He's still amazing. But Chris Godwin is back. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to get weekly targets.
For me, just in general, it's a similar situation. I am not saying Puka Nacua is bad. I am not saying that don't draft Puka Nacua. I could have made a case pre-Davante Adams that Puka Nacua could be your #1 overall pick in fantasy. But having Davante kind of pulls back on that. He'll still get 120 or so targets. Going to have a great season, but it's not the 170 it potentially could have been, as we are just getting started here on NFL Fantasy Live.